Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, and some thinking to do in terms of the team and how we would. And we shall release him after that. Allows it to facilitate for us to get this welcome in, and we will do the same. Intellectual property and copyright. So the use of, I will be forwarding the information as you forward it to me, property and copyright. So when you get it, handle it with the Balozi. We thank you very much, Honorable Members Sauli, to prepare a very comprehensive report. Thank you very much. And welcome back.
When I look into the algorithms, I look into the content, I look into the talent, I look into the processing, and then we want to merge with our economy. We want to merge with our education sector, health sector, agriculture sector.
What is our education system doing? Because in this budget this year, this parliament has allocated the biggest allocation to education in Kenya's history. So are we investing in the right things, or are we investing in education that will not be fit for purpose for our learners when they graduate?
The issue of the digital centers being placed, we are being told, get a digital center somewhere, get a land, somewhere. But I think we need now to make it let that land be within an academic institution, where then, because most people may not be able to come and sit down on a computer, they would want to access it on their phones. But then we can have more utilization of these digital centers by the students who are in that school, but also the community to be able to use it. It will be more efficient that the government is investing their money in a place that would be more productive.
We're also doing very well around thinking through how this technology will drive development. As I said, we're not trying to do self-driving cars. We're not trying to send things into the moon. We're very clear. One will fix milk, one will fix food, one will fix education, one will fix health outcomes, one will fix the justice system. So I think in that context, we're doing very well. But then how do we ensure that those sectors themselves understand the technology? I don't think they do. At the pace within which technology has changed, it has completely reshaped geopolitics in the last 2-3 years. And so our leadership as the Silicon Savannah is currently at risk. Because any country with this technology can leapfrog very quickly. And so coming out of this, as a committee, we are preparing a report, and we will strongly recommend for a parliamentary office on science and technology that equips members, even as they go on the floor, to debate, to be very vast on the issues that you're talking about of the world that we are in. Because that would mean, members, that all the debate that is happening in the House is in an era that does not exist anymore. Yeah. We are working in a regime that is already past. So we are legislating in a past for the future. Members are not ready for what is just about to hit us. If you go into the election as unprepared as members are, you will be hit by something you have never seen. The gold standard used to be the meeting. A politician would go to a meeting and they would sway the ground. The meeting is no longer the gold standard. Yes. Conversations are happening in places where leaders are not, and leaders are having conversations in places where their people are not. And you wonder why there is conflict. You wonder why there is this disparity, or you wonder why there is these divisions.
As government, we have equally made a strategic decision to broaden Kenya's stock market appeal to both local and international investors by earmarking key state assets for privatization through initial public offerings at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We are committed to a structured, time-sensitive program that identifies and prepares a robust pipeline of key government assets to be privatized through the stock exchange or improved through private sector participation. As part of this initiative, we plan to list the Kenya Pipeline Company through an IPO in 2025, offering investors a unique opportunity to deploy capital in one of Kenya's most strategic infrastructure enterprise. I am pleased to note that across Africa, governments and regulators are pursuing similar initiatives aimed at deepening market participation, expanding product offerings, and unlocking the value of strategic public assets through listings and private sector partnerships.
Welcome to the London Stock Exchange. Can you feel it? The buzz of energy just before the market opens. Feels like the whole city is waiting. We love this moment. For most people, when they think of this place, they think of share prices. All those green and red numbers scrolling around the building. But behind those numbers,
it will be the perfect situation to have Safaricom, one of Kenya's national champions, and join our growing community of global consequential companies as well. To be a highly international destination for capital raising. A lot of the exchanges on the world, to give some context to that, 15% of the companies listed on the London Stock Exchange are dual listed, 60%
company through an IPO in 2025, offering investors a unique opportunity to deploy capital in one of Kenya's most strategic infrastructure enterprise. Continued collaboration with nations across the world through government and market channels is vital. Let us build on this foundation to deepen connectivity, share expertise, and create capital markets that are innovative, inclusive, and globally competitive. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud that this morning to share this platform with Africa Finance Corporation, who yesterday I confirmed to them that the government of Kenya has now signed off a host country agreement, and they will be joining our list of premier corporations in Kenya, alongside Global Health, Bupa Global Health, again, who yesterday we signed on board to come and open their office in Nairobi. And later this morning, we will be signing off with Lloyd's of London, a premier insurance company, the oldest, I'm told, again, to join the list of companies coming to Nairobi as a financial hub. This tells you the story of Kenya being ready, prepared, willing, available to do business. And I am here to demonstrate to you that the government of Kenya, at the policy-making level, is aligned in working with you to make sure that we unlock the huge potential that exists in capital markets. It's not just government of Kenya. Even the financial district of Nairobi, the governor of Nairobi is here to demonstrate that the leadership of the city itself is also aligned in making sure that we tap into this great resource that can be used to drive development and create inclusive prosperity. The UK remains a steadfast and strategic partner in advancing Africa's capital market. Beyond the London Stock Exchange roles as a global financial hub, the UK government, through the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, has been instrumental in driving capital market development in the continent. Programs such as Mobilist, in partnership with exchanges like the Nairobi Securities Exchange and the Nigeria Stock Exchange, are helping democratize access to investment and promote financial inclusion. By leveraging listed equity and debt instruments, including green, gender, and climate bonds, these initiatives are unlocking capital for impactful and sustainable projects, while improving transparency, investor confidence, and long-term returns. This approach aligns with Africa's broader ambition to deepen financial ecosystems by increasing financial literacy, expanding access to capital markets, particularly for small and women-oriented businesses, and advancing sustainable finance as a key driver of inclusive economic growth.
15% of the companies listed on the London Stock Exchange are dual listed. 60% of the shares on the London Stock Exchange are owned by international investors, and almost 75% of the earnings of the companies that constitute the FTSE 100, one of our flagship indices, are generated outside the UK. So this level of internationalization is something that creates ample opportunities to build mutually beneficial connections between London, between the UK and the continent of Africa. And I hope some of you here today see that this morning's celebration is perhaps your first one on the balcony, and we look forward to welcoming you to come again and maybe open the market again when you list here. We don't take this role that we play for granted, though. Like any partnership, it requires really constant attention, real constant focus. And I have a very simple theory about partnerships. Partnerships are about what you put in, not what you take out. And it's why we're hosting events such as today, a really important one, and the discussions that are going to happen alongside this and over the course of the week with Africa Invest.
As government, we have equally made a strategic decision to broaden Kenya's stock market appeal to both local and international investors by earmarking key state assets for privatization through initial public offerings at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We are committed to a structured, time-sensitive program that identifies and prepares a robust pipeline of key government assets to be privatized through the stock exchange or improved through private sector participation. As part of this initiative, we plan to list the Kenya Pipeline Company through an IPO in 2025, offering investors a unique opportunity to deploy capital in one of Kenya's most strategic infrastructure enterprise. I am pleased to note that across Africa, governments and regulators are pursuing similar initiatives aimed at deepening market participation, expanding product offerings, and unlocking the value of strategic public assets through listings and private sector partnerships.